Happy Sunday. I'm just going to share this real quick in two of my groups, and then I'm going to get started. Okay, who do I have with me? Happy Sunday, y'all. It seemed like forever. Even though I was on last Sunday, it seemed like forever since I've been talking to y'all. So tonight we are discussing back to school prepping. That looks different for so many of us. Most of the counties across the nation are doing digital learning. They're returning virtual, but there are still some counties that are saying that they're going to do in person. So I don't know what's going to happen. So I just want to come on here and I want to help you all prepare for the 2020 school year, because it's going to be a lot different. For some of us, it's going to be hectic. We're going to have some stressful times. You just putting it out there. So I have some tips that's going to help and some strategies that's going to help with that. So let me just see who I have with me. Hey, Nafisha. I hope you had a great vacation. Who else do I have on with me? And I have shared this in both groups. So everyone from the Mom Talk group as well as the Gwinnett County Digital Learning group, you should be on as well. Let's see, 9:03. I'm going to give it about 1 or 2 minutes so I can get some people gathered here with me. And then I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank y'all so much for coming on and joining me tonight. So doing things a little bit different. Typically I go live every Sunday night except for like holiday weekends. And I do it in, hey, Christina, thank you for joining me. Jamaica, thank you for joining me. I typically do it in my Mom Talk group, is the Facebook group that I have. And we talk about a whole bunch of different things. Hey, Lady Battles. Hey, Marie. We talk about a whole bunch of different things. Last week, we did mompreneurship. I dedicated the full week to mompreneurs. And so I went on last week in that particular group. Typically, that's where I go live every Sunday night, 9 p.m. So if you're not a part of the group, definitely join and meet me there. Tonight, I'm going live on my personal page, only because the two groups that I do have on Facebook, they're both private. So you do have to request to be able to join the groups, and they're specifically for two different reasons. So I have a Gwinnett County. You are auntie mom. Yes, yes. So I have a Gwinnett County Digital Learning group on Facebook. So if you're local to me, living nearby, and you're in Gwinnett County, I established that group because I am a parent and I'm going to need help for digital learning this particular school year. So I have that group, and then I have Mom Talk, which is moms across the nation. So find a group. If you are a mom, join it. Oh, thank you, Marie. Join it. Shaniqua, thank you for joining me. And what I did this particular week is I am going live on my personal page. The reason being is because I wanted to share into those two private groups. And then there was a lot of people, educators, moms, parents. I even have dads like, hey, can we be a part of this? Yes. But just so y'all know, my purpose is mom. So I typically coach and I speak to moms directly, but dads, you can definitely take part in this as well. So thank you for coming on. If you are joining me from my personal page, if you can please share. I see some of you have already tagged moms in here as well. So yes, tag a mom that you know may need these tips, as well as share. Thank you in advance for sharing. If you are watching from either one of the private groups, unfortunately, you will not be able to share. But what you can do is you can add someone to that group who needs this information, so that way they can take part in the group as well as this particular live video. So again, thank you so much for joining me. A lot of people had came on. Brittany, Kathy, Amanda, thank y'all so much. So I'm going to go ahead and hop right in. Before I get to all the tips that I have, Okay, it was something wrong with the connection there. But as I sat down and I started to prepare and mentally go through things, and my mind just keeps turning with ideals and tips and strategies to be able to make this school year successful, because again, it's going to look different for all of us. And so as I sat down, it was just way too much. So I had to put it in categories. So I may not get to all the categories tonight, but bear with me. And I am really hoping that something said tonight is going to help someone that is watching. So before I get into those, thank you one more time for coming on. Welcome to our Mom Talk Sunday night live chat. Again, I do this every Sunday at 9 p.m. I am the owner of Tramika Craddock Enterprises, LLC. And what I do there, I have a coaching service. So I coach moms as well as I speak, mostly for moms, but sometimes for women empowerment as well. And I have products. So you're more than welcome. Don't want to go into that anymore. You can go to my website, TramikaCraddock.com, where you can find more information about any of the services or the products that I have to offer. So let's jump right in. Pandemic, COVID-19, all these hashtags. Hashtag Rona, hashtag coronavirus. So it has back to school looking different for all of us. And for some, it's very overwhelming. For some, it's frustrating. For some, we're angry, we're sad. But no, we have to figure it out, right? And as moms, typically we do. We create a plan, we figure out a plan, we get help from this person or that person, a book, a webinar, anything, a blog, whatever we need to do, we figure it out and we get it done, right? And so that is what I want to encourage you all to just operate in that spirit, to just say whatever I need to do, whoever I need to connect with, whatever I need to read, whatever I need to learn, whoever I need to communicate with, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get it done. And you have to go in with the mindset that you are going to be successful. Your child is going to be successful, as well as a teacher. So I have already started sitting down, planning out things here in Gwinnett County in Georgia. Our kids go back August 12th. Right now, they are still providing an in-person and virtual option. I know a lot of surrounding counties and other states have went to virtual. So some of the tips I give tonight will be for in-person as well as virtual. What I am going to say is I did not divide the two. I don't have a full list for in-person. I don't have a full list for digital. So what I want you to do is, and I tell my clients all the time, take what I'm giving, tweak it so that it works for your family and your household. So take what I'm giving, and if you're going in person, tweak it so that it works for in person for you and your child. And so one of the things I want to mention really quickly as well before I dive into the tips is I am really praying for moms, families, students, teachers, staff, bus drivers. It's not easy for any of us. We should not be judgmental. We should not be disrespectful. We should not be rude. Everybody has chosen a different path based on their family circumstances. We all just need to respect that. And then we need to do what we need to do, be able to support them. So one of the things that I had said the other day is, because I've been seeing so much stuff of people just having a lot of comments about what everybody else is doing. It doesn't matter. Take care of your household and then help your neighbor. And what I mean by that, the friend that you have, the circle that you in, the village that you have created. Take care of your household and support your neighbor. And don't, if you're thinking about being rude or disrespectful, just mind your business. Let everybody kind of do what they need to do for their household. And I just want to just put that out there because for me, I'm not for or against in-person or digital learning. But what's important is I support the parents in their decision and everything that they're making. So your decision may not be our decision. I will just say right off the bat, our family have decided to do digital learning for various reasons. I'm more than welcome to talk to anybody one-on-one if you need advice or you want some more information as of why we chose that particular avenue or that journey to go on. So here's my tips, y'all. So let me tell y'all, I had so many, right? I had to break them down into categories. So 7 categories, y'all. 7 categories. So I have school supplies and preparation. That's one. Social and emotional health. That's another. Scheduling is another. Setup for your learning space. That's another. Rewards is one category. Academic success and safety. So I'm typically, when I come on Sunday Night Live Chat, I'm doing 30 minutes. Definitely probably will not get to all of this tonight. So y'all bear with me. I'm going to give you as much information as I can. I did have some questions come in as well. So if I can jump around and answer those questions, I will do so. But let's go ahead and dive right in. So first thing off the back, everybody's asking, because if you like me, you want to prep ahead of time, what type of school supplies do I need? So this information or this list was compiled out of what we actually use in our household for spring, because we know all counties, all schools went virtual in spring. So this list is compiled of what we actually use in our household in spring, as well as there was a form that was for parents and children with some staff, teachers, principals, people at administration, at a church here locally. And I did get some of that information from them as well. Those teachers suggested, or those principals suggested certain supplies. So those are on my list as well. So let's go through them. Number one at the top, laptop, some type of electronic device. Laptop, Streambook, Chromebook. I just even recently learned the difference between them all. I had no clue. And so for my middle school and my elementary, we did get Chromebooks. For our high schooler, we got a Streambook. So different devices, similar, but I will suggest getting some type of device. Doing virtual learning on a cell phone, it works, but it's not, you can't take advantage of everything the most you can with a cell phone. So yes, it works, but it's not the best tool to use. iPads, my son, he was in 4th grade in spring. We did use an iPad. And so some parents are asking questions about the iPad. Yes, we did have an iPad, and it worked, but was not better than what a Chromebook is going to be. So our middle daughter, our middle schooler, she had a Chromebook. It worked really, really well. We got a Samsung Chromebook 3. They have those for $99 on Walmart's website. It always say in and out of stock, so you just have to keep looking. So I ended up ordering 2 a couple weeks ago. It had said out of stock. I kept refreshing all throughout the day, and then eventually they were in stock and I was able to order 2. So keep checking, check that out. There are other devices. I will say the reason why we chose the Samsung Chromebook 3 is because our middle schooler had it in spring. It worked really, really well, as well as I asked the IT guy at my son's elementary school, and he sent me a picture of a Chromebook, and it was that particular Chromebook that he said would be good for digital learning. So $99 can't beat that deal. If you cannot afford a laptop, Chromebook, Streambook, here in Gwinnett County, I don't know about all other states, but if you are here, most surrounding counties, I am being told that you can contact your school and they would have one that you would be able to loan. So if you're in another state as well, go ahead and put in the chat if you know that is the case as well, to help those people out. Or again, I will suggest that you contact your school. Flash drive. And let me say one thing about the iPad. The reason why the iPad wasn't that great is because my son, 4th grade, when he had to do presentations and Google Slides and stuff like that, it was not very user-friendly with the iPad. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But flash drive or some type of internal drive outside of the laptop, Chromebook, Streambook, Chromebooks, Streambooks, they do not have a lot of space. So if your kids need to save stuff, you don't want to deal with them losing a flash drive, etc., then you may want to get an actual laptop that has more space. And I've been told that the difference between them is the space as well as the processing system. So flash drive is something that they would need to have if they're saving papers, having to type them up, things of that nature, so that they won't use up all the space that they have on a Chromebook. Again, it's very limited. The next thing is some type of desk, chair, table, so that you can create a separate learning space. And I have a whole nother category for this that I'm going to talk about, how to set up the space and some of the things that you should have to make that space comparable to do digital learning. But you do need some type of desk, table, something for them to be able to work on. I'll be sharing my space within the next couple weeks. I'm repurposing some stuff around the house, creating some space, because we didn't have, you may be like us, we were in a family that had just like a separate room. We are using especially in quarantine, we are using every single room in the house at this point. And so we didn't necessarily have a separate space, room, I should say, but we do have a separate space that I'm going to move around, and I'll be sharing that in weeks to come. But you need these things. Look on Facebook Marketplace. I love Facebook Marketplace. I probably need to stay off of Facebook Marketplace. Let go your local thrift stores, you know. And then the thing with the COVID-19, what I would say is if you're purchasing from thrift stores or from someone, just, you know, spray it down, wash it down, keep it in the garage for a couple of days. But that's what I do, so that I am feeling comfortable bringing those items into the house. Another thing I would say is a calendar. I know in spring, my kids, for whatever, they couldn't keep up with the date. I don't know the date. I don't go to school every day, and they asking me, I don't know. So a calendar is going to be very, very key. Of course, they do have the electronics where they have it on there, but I specifically will suggest some type of desktop calendar, tabletop calendar, something you can put on the wall. They can cross off days. You can add different things that I'm going to talk about to help when I talk about scheduling, different things that you could add to your calendar. So having a calendar will be really, really good. A calculator, especially for those older ones. I'm going to talk about this when I talk about scheduling as well. So I'm kind of jumping back and forth. But one of the things is I'm going to suggest that the kids do not have their electronics. If you're at home working digitally, they do not have their cell phones while they're doing work. So that looks different. If you're using a cell phone for work, of course, you don't have a choice. But if they have a separate electronic, if you take their fun electronics away from them during that time, they won't be able to use a calculator on it. And I will say that my kids did use a calculator on their phone, but coming this fall, because we're doing a semester long at least, it's gonna look totally different for them. I do need it to be very much so structured. So a separate calculator is going to be key. Of course, you got your paper, scratch paper, especially with math. One of the suggestions I would make for math is, especially with the younger ones, and they do this in school as well, is to go to Dollar Tree and get one of the dry erase boards. That way they're not constantly worrying about sharpening pencils and do I have an eraser? I don't know why erasers disappear. I don't know why the pencils don't stay sharp long. I don't know. But a dry erase board will be very, very helpful, especially when they're doing math. So, of course, pen and paper to jot down notes, pencils. My middle schooler, she was in art, and so she needed color pencils, markers. So if you have the younger ones, color pencils, markers, crayons, you know, the basic things that you need for going into school. Not everything. So look at the school supply, but the basic things that you need to make sure that they're able to do stuff at home. Plus, you may want to incorporate some additional things for them to do, like coloring books and things of that nature. So you want to make sure you have those color pencils, those crayons. The color pencils came in handy because what she had to do was draw different art, and then she had to color it, shade it, whatever, take a picture of it, and then send it back to her teacher. So the color pencils definitely came in handy for us. I have just ordered a pencil sharpener, an electric one. So we're not, you know, doing the manual way, and the stuff is everywhere. So Walmart is where I got mine. You're more than welcome to look online. I know Staples have an incredible sale right now. So an electric pencil sharpener is what I'm suggesting. If you do not want to pay the money for an electric pencil sharpener, get a small one, 50 cents. Maybe make sure every child has one. So if you get the manual pencil sharpeners, Staples have them for like 50 cents, $1, things of that nature. A binder. So I think it's really important if you're going in person, you need a binder, as well as if you're at home, you will need a binder. And what I say by that is if they're taking notes, especially if it's an open notebook test or anything of that nature, you can put those dividers in, and then they can have one binder for all of the classes. Or you may want to do it per class, whatever your organization system looks like or will work best with your child. We will do one binder in our house, and in the front of the binder, protective sheets so that it'll have all the logons on it. So that way I'm not looking through emails from teachers. I'm not looking through Class Dojo. I'm not looking, like all the logins printed out on that one sheet in a protector sheet in the front of the binder. So they'll have that, all the logins for the different platforms that they're going to have to use throughout the school year. So that is something to have as well. What I have been hearing a lot of is printer, scanner, copier. I will say we did use the printer. Probably wasn't in the spring. It wasn't necessary. My kids wanted me to print out some stuff. It was easier for them to study versus trying to look at the laptop the entire time. So you can print out notes or guides or mini books, stuff like that. So they're actually looking at paper some of the time and not necessarily looking at the screen to study. I think that that's going to be very, very important, especially for their eye health as well. So having a printer, you can buy one used, go to Walmart, Target, Staples, like I said, currently has a sale. But I do believe that a printer is going to be key. I think that you will definitely need a printer. Alarm clocks. So we're not going to have the cell phones, or if your kids doesn't have cell phones, they may be smaller kids, and you were trying to teach them to wake up at a certain time, because scheduling is going to be very, very key this year, especially if you're doing digital learning at home. So get some old-fashioned alarm clocks. They have them at Family Dollar, Dollar General, Walmart, Target. Get the old school ones that buzz and you got to hit it and tap it when it goes off, and have them set those alarms. There may be alarms for waking up, going to bed at night, as well as maybe one for lunchtime. You know how they're in school and the bell rings. You can incorporate that as well with those alarm clocks. The last thing that I have on my school supply list is flashcards. Those are going to be very, very key. Again, another form of studying. We use flashcards a lot. And so they're not looking at the screen all day, every day, getting those flashcards, writing notes out so that they can study. We use this in person too. So if you're going in person, it's a good thing to have the flashcards. I believe right now Staples have them on sale for 75 cents. I have already shared the link in the Mom Talk group, and someone shared it in the Gwinnett County Digital Learning group. So take a look at that. It has crayons, color pencils, all type of school supplies, composition books if you don't want to do the binders, for 50 cents. Some 75, some 50 cents. Take a look at that and purchase your items. One of the things that I did like about Staples, and if any other store is doing it, y'all let me know. One of the things I liked about Staples is free delivery. If I can get free delivery on the 50-cent item, I'm loving that. So make sure you take a look and take advantage of that particular sale. So that's all I have for school supplies. I want to jump into preparation and give you a few tips there. Prepare a tutor ahead of time. Prepare a tutor ahead of time. If you have selected digital learning and you know your child is not that strong in particular subjects like reading or language arts or social studies or science or math, whatever that looks like, the teachers, they are there for you, but just like in school, it's going to be for a limited amount of time. They're not going to be available probably, and I'm just speaking, I don't know, ask your teacher directly, but just generally speaking, even when we went into the building, they were not available at 9 and 10 o'clock at night. Not to say that we should be up learning them, but some parents have to work, and that's just the circumstances or what it's going to look like for some households. And so prepare a tutor ahead of time. What I mean by that is if you know a certified teacher, or if you know a high school student, I will say specifically in our digital learning, we have created a thread of the digital learning Facebook group. We have created a thread with a whole bunch of different teachers that have told us what they're specialized in, what they can help us with. And I do plan to create a platform for our high schoolers in that particular group to earn volunteer hours or get paid a small amount per hour to tutor our younger kids. This helps them with that idle time. So this gives them something else to do, productive, as well as they're going to be able to help other parents. So those are going to be the two options. Again, that's available in the digital learning group. And again, I can't say it enough. Just prepare a tutor ahead of time. So whatever it is, the subject that your child may need additional help in, find a tutor now. Look up their rates. Put it in your budget. Plan for it. If you need it for 1 month, great, it's there, it's in the budget. If you don't need it for the next month, great, it's in the budget. Take advantage of all the resources that the school is giving free first. Free items first. Free resources first. And if you find that your child needs additional help, then that's when you need to look into the paid services. So again, certified teachers, actual people who have, I don't know if you go to school for it or whatever, how you certify for it, but actual tutors. There's a lot of virtual learning and tutoring going on right now. Or again, in that digital learning group, we are going to be able to have some high schoolers who are going to be doing it for volunteer hours or for a lower fee for the parents who may not be able to afford the regular rates. So keep that in mind. Prepare for a tutor. Download the apps ahead of time. So if you know your teacher is using Dojo, whatever y'all use in the spring, you know that you're going to use Google Slides, Microsoft Word, whatever it is, the apps that your child is going to need, the platforms that they're going on, eClass is what we use it here. Download those apps ahead of time. So go ahead and order your devices. Go ahead and see when you can borrow them from the school. I don't know at what particular date they're going to give those out. Once you get those devices, don't wait till the first day of school, because what happens is we wait till the last minute and we become frustrated. And that frustration goes into the next day, into the next day. And then by the end of the week, it's like, this week, the first week was not, it was horrible. And then you carry that attitude or that mindset into the second week. But if we prepare and plan as much as we can ahead of time, it creates an atmosphere for success, because our mind is not going to be boggled. We're not going to be all over the place. Our kids are not going to be all over the place. It's going to allow stuff to actually go more smoothly. And then we're going to be more productive. You are more productive when you're not stressed out, fatigued, or upset or angry, frustrated, whatever the case may be. And so make sure we are planning ahead of time. One of the things, especially for my smaller kids, do some type of typing preparation prior to school. So they still are in summer, most of us, for another couple weeks. Find a typing game. Find some type of program. Always use free resources first. Because of COVID-19, there are a lot of free virtual platforms out there where they're providing resources for free. Just Google it. If you don't know of one, just Google it. Typing game for the younger kids. Help them. Let them start typing, because they're going to have to type responses. They're going to have to type papers. They're going to have to type presentations. My son did a lot of this in spring, and he was only in the 4th grade. Testing. It's going to be typing. So you don't want them, of course, for a while they may do the little peck in, but you don't want them so slow that they run out of time when it's time for testing, if it's a time test, or they get frustrated because they're on something for a really long time because they don't know where to find the letters. I'm telling you, over the summer, start now, do some type of typing skills or preparation for them. Before school starts, you can do this as early as you want to. Our family does it every single year. Sit down as a family, have a meeting, discuss goals and expectations. So there should be goals that your children are creating for themselves, as well as goals that the parents have. And so let me just go into what that may look like a little bit. So for parents, what that may look like, I'm setting a goal to say, hey, I'm going to reach out to my teacher at least once every month, or once per semester, or I'm going to schedule a sit down if we end up going back in person. Whatever that looks like, I'm going to make it an effort for 5 minutes every day. I'm going to give my kids their undivided attention and ask them about their day. We're going to have a conversation every night at dinner time. Whatever that looks like for your school year, set those expectations, create those goals. Same thing for the kids. My kids say stuff like, I want straight A's. What are the expectations? So the expectations in digital learning is you're not going to be sleeping late. You're going to get up and you're going to get your work done. You're not going to be lounging around, or whatever that looks like for your household. Or if they're going into school, talk about safety. I expect you to keep your mask on. I expect you, even though you want to play with Buddy, to stay 6 feet apart as much as you can. I expect you to listen to what the teacher is saying. Whatever the expectation and goals are, sit down as a family, create those. You're more than welcome to write those out as well, display them. So if something happened, it's like, hey, look, we sat down and we talked about this. What's going on? Or even as a parent, it helps to remind, like, hey, I said I was going to be a little bit more involved. I was going to volunteer at the school at least once a month this year. Whatever that looks like, but set those goals and expectations and have the mindset going into the school year, whether you have chose digital learning or in person, the journey is going to be different for all of us. Have the mindset that is going to be successful, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do, incorporate whatever I need to, incorporate whoever I need to make sure that I have a successful school year, make sure that my kids have a successful school year, as well as the teachers and the staff. The last thing that I have under preparation is, and I actually talked about this, is the meeting together as a family. One of the last thing I want to mention about that is have check-in points. Don't wait till the end of semester and contact your teacher or sit down with your kids and be like, oh my God, they're failing, or Johnny has a D, or it's a C+, what's going on? Create check-in points. So, okay, I'm going to have this check-in point with my child. I'm going to have this check-in point with my teachers. And don't just, for me, and this is what I would just say, don't just use the teacher-parent conference as a check-in point. Yes, it is great. That's minimum. And so if it's going to look different this year and we expect to be successful, then we have to put in more effort, especially as parents. And so create those check-in points where you're sitting down looking at grades together. Like, hey, we have a parent portal where it shows every single grade they got on every test, every paper, every assignment. Hey, why do you have a 65 here? Why do you have a 72 on this? Okay, let me reach out to your teacher. Maybe you need additional help. Create those checkpoints. Don't wait until the end of the school year or the semester. Please don't, because again, we want our kids to be successful. So that was a lot, y'all, but I hope that has helped. That's what I had under my school supplies and preparations for the school year. Thank you for those who are still with me. I'm gonna go into social and emotional and what I may have to do, because I told you I got 7 categories. I'm going to have to give a part 2 next Sunday. So that's what I'll do. But let me go over social and emotional health. We're going to go over that rather quickly, and I'm going to let y'all on with y'all Sunday night. Number 1, so I have 11 things here. Number 1, you have to have a support system, or AKA a village. One of the teachers, Allison Good, shout out to you. She has been doing lives with one of her coworkers. And one of the things that she said is, and I may be saying a little bit different, but it's basically, it's going to take a village in order for us to be successful this year. Sorry if I jacked up your words, Allison, but that's the gist of it. We have to operate as a village being the teachers, the staff, administration, support in your community, with your friends, with your family. We have to operate as a village. We have to come together for student success. And so that's going to be very, very important. One of the reasons why I even created the Gwinnett County Digital Learning Group is because I knew immediately, based off spring, it went okay for us, but it was some things I know we can improve, especially if we're going to do it from August to December. I created that group because I needed the support. And what I thought was only going to be like 25 moms, and we were just going to figure stuff out, and we were going to work together, rally together, do stuff together. It's probably over about 1,200 parents in there now. I even have moms like, hey, my husband needs to get in here. Can we take the word mom off? Yes, I got you. We took the word mom off. It's just a support group. So, did not think it was going to grow that much, but that just is very telling to let me know that there are a lot of parents in the same predicament who has chose the same journey as us. Even if you've chosen in person, there was somebody who was in that group like, hey, I'm doing in person. I'm going to go ahead and create a group for that. There was another group that was birthed out of that. Don't matter what you have chosen, in person or digital learning. Again, it's going to be different, and we all need a support system. So for me, I was very, very strong on a PTA. I have my girls, my sisters, my family. They know who they are. That is my village when it comes to my kids. I have other people that I can depend on. But you have to create some type of support system. If you need to call and vent, I got teenagers. Oh my God, I have teenagers. So other moms that have teenagers, so I'm like, are you going through this? Like, how did you handle it? You need that support system, even to be able to get out, social distance and hang out with them or whatever, that you're going to need time apart. Their kids getting together, social distancing, they're going to need time apart. So the village is my number one thing. And I feel like, I'm not saying it's probably the most important, but it is very, very, very important to create and have a village. So if you feel like you do not have a support system, or you feel like you do not have a village, sit down, think about it. Who are the people you trust with your children? Who are the people you trust with your thoughts and the things that you're going through? Create a village. Ask people. They probably need the same thing that you need, and they're probably just waiting for somebody to reach out or didn't know where to go. So if you don't have one, create it. And I am big for that. If I need a resource and it's not available, I'm going to create it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it with other people as well. And again, that was the reason why I created the group. So if you're in another state, another county, you may want to create a group for your county or your state. But whatever you do, make sure you have that support system going in. Make sure you have the support system going in. Number 2, have your children build relationships with their classmates. So whether they're talking to their classmates from last school year that are in their class, because they're going to see each other on Zoom sessions, Google Classroom, whatever the teachers are using, they're going to see each other. Reach out to some of the parents, especially if you know the parents, you got the emails from last year. You can even ask the teacher, hey, would you be willing to connect me with so-and-so's mom? Let them do virtual things together. Let them connect and build relationships outside of just coming together for the Zoom sessions every day and the Google Classroom sessions or whatever they're doing. So making sure that they build relationships with their classmates, even if it's virtual. I am a spiritual person. So number 3 is definitely going to be pray together. Pray together, pray together, pray together in the beginning, in the middle, the end, and all the way in between all of that. Okay. So praying together is going to be very, very key. Because we're going to, again, need that support and the mindset to be successful. And so praying together is going to be very, very, very important. Number 4, guard your family time. And what I mean by that is you do need, and I'll talk about this in scheduling, you do need to set aside family time where they're not doing homework, they're not doing digital learning, they're not talking to their peers, they're not on the video games, they're not on cell phones. None of that. None of the electronics, any of that, unless you all decide to do it together. Playing board games, watching movies. I already told my kids, I think yesterday, I said, hey, when school starts back, we're going to do movie Mondays. And so every Monday night as a family, I want to be able to sit down and watch a movie, hour and a half, 2 hours. That's going to be very, very key. And what I mean by guard your family time, no interruptions. There is nothing that should, unless it's emergency, there is nothing, homegirl need to talk. Boo, I got you after I finish having family time with my family. So that's going to be very, very, very key to guard your family time. Coping skills. If you're not already discussing it and your kids do not already have coping skills, then that's going to be key. You can look these up. You can ask a counselor. If you know a psychologist, you can look on YouTube. Basic coping skills. When I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm frustrated, I'm fatigued, I'm stressed out, I'm dealing with something. How are you coping? So practicing those coping skills are going to be very, very important. That's number 5. Number 6 is positive affirmations. I personally plan to write on my kids' bathroom mirror. I have my personal affirmations on my bathroom mirror. You can do it with a dry erase board. You can have them, what I talked about in the front of the binder where it had like the logins and all that. You can put a personal affirmation there for each child because it may be different for each child so that they can read it every day. Whatever space, we're going to talk about setting up space. You can put it on the wall, whatever that looks like, so that they can see those positive affirmations every day. You can leave them on the bathroom sink, leave them on the pillow, rehearse them in the morning or recite them, whatever that looks like. But there should be some type of positive affirmations that should be included. That's for in-person or digital learning, because it's going to be scary for some of the kids going into school. And it's going to be different, and they're going to want to do things that they're probably not supposed to do or that they're used to doing and they can't do any longer. So those positive affirmations to have a good day is going to be very important for you and for your child. So not just for the child, for you as well, or whatever parent is staying home. Number 7 is have little to no downtime during the school day. So whatever you blocked out for your school day, it's going to be different in different counties and different states. Some people are saying the whole 6-hour time. Some people are saying sometime in between. But for whatever time frame that looks like, whatever, if you're at home and you're considering this time to this time, let's just say you're considering 8 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're considering that to be the school day, there should be little to no downtime. And what I mean by that is plug in things. If the school is not giving enough, ask for more. That's your free resource. Research stuff. get free resources, virtual classes, camps, and stuff like that you can do. Varsity Tutors, I know they're doing a lot of free classes and camps during the school year and now over the summer if you need something for the last couple weeks of summer. But there should be little to no downtime, because that's going to help them to not be distracted. That's going to help them to not bug you. That's going to help them to not want to go play the video game. That's going to help them to not want to get on their electronics. So complete full schedule. And I'm going to talk about scheduling next Sunday, because unfortunately I ran out of time for today, y'all. The next one is check the electronics if your kids are going to be at home, even if they're at school. I did this last school year, even when they were going in person. But even now, everybody can attest, not everybody, but some parents can attest that our kids are using electronics a little bit more than what they would typically do. I can say for our household they are. So you need to be checking those electronics, looking in pictures, looking in websites that they're going on. What are they doing? What apps are they downloading? Looking at what shows, TV shows, movies are they watching? What's entering into them? That's going to be very key, very important. So make sure you create some type of checkpoints for checking the electronics. Now, your kid's probably going to be mad at me, but this is what I do. I collect the electronics every night. So if you have small kids, they have the electronics. For our household, they're required to turn them in every night. So that may be a time where you can check those electronics. Don't tell your kids I told you that. They might get mad at me. Number 9 is set restrictions in screen time. So Apple has screen time. If you have an Android, Family Link is how you control the screen time on there. Y'all, I just figured this out as well. We have AT&T. If you download the AT&T Home app, you can control the Wi-Fi when it turns on and turns off for them as well. I am loving all these parent controls and restrictions with the screen time and everything. So create restrictions. Talk to them about it. Don't just have the phone go off or the electronic go off. Look, to get a good night's sleep, or you're not at an appropriate age to be on an electronic past this particular hour or this time. So whatever that looks like and the reason why you're doing it, talk to them, communicate with them, let them know why you're doing it. You're only 9 years old. You're only 10 years old. There's nobody you need to text or you need to call after 7:30. Whatever that looks like for your household, put those restrictions and set those screen time, put those things in place. This is going to help, again, with their social and emotional, because we don't want them engaged in or being exposed to anything before the appropriate age, or just anything that we would not want our children to be exposed to, period. Number 10 is pay attention to changes in behavior. So that parent forum that I told you all about in the beginning, there was a psychologist on there, and this was one of the things that she mentioned, and it was very, very real and important to me. And so what she talked about is paying attention to changes in behavior as we do digital learning. I'm going to go out on a limb and say in person as well, because again, it's going to look different. So some of the things she talked about, are your kids getting angry? Are they starting to isolate themselves? Also bedwetting for the smaller kids. So what are some of the things that you see that are changing? If you see your child begin to change behaviors, I know that as parents, sometimes we're quick to just be like discipline, which is fine. Every household, again, is different. But even if we discipline them and tell them that it wasn't right to do and what may be the right thing to do, really analyze or think about what may have created that change in behavior. And so, again, spiritual person, definitely need to be praying for that to be revealed to you, as well as praying with your child and just seeing what you can do, what has changed in the last couple days or weeks or months, whatever that looks like. One big change that we're going to know is school is going to look different. And so that is already going to be a big change for everyone involved. Teachers, staff, administration, bus drivers, parents, families, children, everybody involved is going to look different. So our moods are probably going to be different. And so we have to recognize changes in the behavior and figure out what we need to do. One of the things that I am a huge advocate for is counseling. So maybe your child may need to reach out and speak to someone. That may be somebody at your church. That may be somebody in your family. Or you may need to hire professional help. Don't be embarrassed if you need to do that. You may need professional help for yourself because you may get stressed out this school year. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed if that's something that you need to do. So make sure you are paying attention for yourself, whoever's your accountability partner. Girl, if you see that I've been a little different, let me know. I've been a little angry. Oh, my patience has been little, less than what it has been in the past. Those are the things that you want your accountability partner to look out for you. Same thing with your kids, paying attention to their day-to-day behavior, what has changed. Make sure you're paying attention to those cues. I can't say that or repeat it enough. That's going to be very, very important, y'all, because it can become dangerous. Let me say that. It can become dangerous. So we have to make sure that we're paying attention to those changes in behavior. The last thing, number 11, that I want to mention is clusters, or they're called pods. If you homeschool or you're familiar with homeschooling, they're called pods. And that's where a small group of kids get together and they have school together. So with the digital learning, I am suggesting, depending on your comfortability level, you have to know the people that you're doing it with as well. So grouping up with a few people that may have kids in your same age range. That may be family members. That may be people in your neighborhood. That may be people that you just know from the school. That may be people in your kids' class. I know one mom, she said that she had high schoolers. She was going to do large tables, and she was going to allow 1 or 2 kids to come over with her child. She was going to make sure they were going to be 6 feet apart. She had a plan in place that she described to the parents of how she was going to clean everything down, make sure they're social distance, but they're learning together. So I am for that. That's just me, not a large group of people. Depending on if you feel comfortable. Because don't say Tramika said and then y'all get sick. If you feel comfortable with it, it is something that you maybe can look at and consider. Think about it, pray about it. If it's something that you should do, maybe let one other child come over, maybe a few times during the week. On that form, one of the things they suggested as well is getting a group of parents, maybe like 2 to 3 parents, and you all taking turns so that it gives a breather for one mom 1 day of a week. So for example, three moms, including me. Monday, one mom takes the kids, 3 kids, only 3 kids. Wednesday, one mom takes the kids. Friday, one mom take the kids. So that gives me 2 days a week where I'm free to have a breather, and I'm not stressed out about worrying about digital learning, making sure everybody is doing their work and things of that nature. Because I'm going to get into that, what academic success is going to look like and what efforts we need to put in as parents this school year, especially if we're doing digital learning. So create a cluster, create a pod, totally up to you. Again, if you feel comfortable. I know for me, I'm not really playing with the COVID-19. I have had instances where I have been very nervous about it, and especially because we do have conditions in our household. And so safety is first, and that's why we're not going back to school. So I do feel more comfortable with maybe 1 or 2 other kids socially distanced in the house versus going to school. That's just me. That's just our perspective as a family. So think about it. It may be something that you may want to do. But that's all that I have tonight. Just going back to that, creating those clusters or those pods is going to help with the social part of your kids not being able to be in school, especially if you have a child that's the only child and doesn't have siblings, or you have siblings who are far apart. So if you have an elementary and a high schooler, they're probably not socializing a whole lot together. So if you do have multiple kids, and you're perfect, they're all in one household, you can figure it out. They can socialize with each other. But if you do have, kids who are in different age ranges, or only 1 child or 2 kids, think about the cluster or the pod. That is something that, again, I would suggest. So I hope y'all enjoyed my tips for today. I have 5 more categories, y'all. I cannot believe it. So next Sunday, I'm going to come on, meet me again at 9 p.m. I'm going to talk about scheduling. I'm going to talk about your digital learning setup, your learning space, some just tips or ideas of what you can do there. I'm going to talk about rewards. I'm going to talk about academic success, and I'm going to talk about safety. those are the ones that I have went through today. Today I talked, those are the ones that I will go through next Sunday. Today I've talked about school supplies and preparation, as well as social and emotional health, things that we can do to contribute to being healthy in those particular areas. So again, you're more than welcome to share. I've seen a lot of people tagging people in. Thank you so much. Or you're welcome, Contessa. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank y'all so much. Are there any questions? Y'all, I usually come on for 30 minutes. I'm way over my time today. But I hope that it really helped you all. Any questions before we go? Again, if you are not in one of those groups, you're more than welcome to join. That is Mom Talk. I'll post them in the comment sections on here. Mom Talk group, as well as the Gwinnett County Digital Learning Group. You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. Well, if nothing else, all week I'm sharing tips and ideals. I have a Monday through Friday, Mom Find Fridays, Wednesday Mom Hacks, Motivation, or Monday Mom Tips, whatever. All things moms, okay? All things motherhood. So if you have not already connected to me, feel free to do so. Facebook is the platform that I share the majority of my items on. So besides having that group, you can definitely connect with me at Tramika Craddock on my personal page. Again, I share all the time. You are very welcome, Wendy. You can also connect with me on Instagram. I don't share as much on Instagram, but I am there, and I do share sometimes, as well as Twitter and LinkedIn, and then I have a YouTube page as well. So connect with me. I love connecting with new moms, new parents. Take a look at the stuff that I have out there that I'm going to be putting out there to help us to continue to prepare for back to school, as well as if you're interested in any of my products or services, you're more than welcome to visit my website, TramikaCraddock.com. Thank you so much for coming on with me. Thank you so much for everyone who has tagged and has shared. You all have a great Sunday night and a productive week.